I would say that most of my videos are geared more towards high-level competitive play. People who've been playing for a long time and are already pretty good at the game, and maybe just trying to learn something new or interesting that might help. But I did want to make a couple of videos that were really at the beginner level, just to try and help people who might not be at that high of a level yet. So in this video, I was going to talk about visualizing a chain and learning chain ideas. So I think it's easy to misunderstand, but when you learn a form, that's not a transition. I'll talk about transitions in a different video. But in general, when you learn like a chain form or a chain shape, you're not memorizing the shape exactly. You just memorize the idea behind the shape, and then you learn how to visualize like how the chain resolves as it goes, and you learn how to visualize how you could create that type of shape to build your own chain. So stairs is probably a really easy example to visualize. So even if you're not familiar to the game, you can probably see how this chain works and then just kind of understand it yourself. And then if you think about it, you could probably think of how you could add another link at the end, and you could probably visualize it on your own, even if you're not necessarily good at the game, just by thinking, well, you could do the exact same shape, and that's going to work. And now you've extended your chain. So that's kind of the idea behind learning a form. You're not necessarily memorizing where every color goes, you just understand an idea behind a chain, and then you learn how to use that idea to make your own chain that's similar to that. So if you use a different form, they call it key here. Sometimes it's called sandwich as well. So this is a similar thing where you're not so much memorizing the exact shape, you're just memorizing the idea. So the idea is roughly that you have three Puyo in one column separated by one in between, and then you put the fourth in the column to the right and block off three of another color, and then you put the fourth on the right, and then you block off three of another color. So if you look at this idea, you could probably come up with how you could extend it on the front side. You just block off the reds, and then put the fourth red on top of that color, and then you set it off here. So you learn how to visualize how the chain pops and what's going to happen when something like when the reds disappear, this blue's going to fall down. And then when the blues disappear, this green's going to fall down, and then the yellows. So you learn how to visualize how the chain pops, and you learn how to visualize like how you might use the idea to build your own links. So like that. So there's a couple common ideas like stairs and sandwiches. And if you really learn how to like visualize it, then you might learn like how to build an extra link off of this shape. So if you look at it, it looks a lot like that key or sandwich shape, so you could build another link like this, and that's going to work. And again, this isn't so much that you don't necessarily memorize the exact shape, you memorize the idea like, okay, if you see this thing, then you remember, okay, I can make that sandwich shape like this, and that's going to add another link. Or if I were to go to here and maybe build something like this, well, you could probably visualize how you could add to that by putting a yellow because it's a lot like the stair shape. And now you could probably think of a way to make one more link because it is the stair shape now. So you learn a lot of different ideas like this, and then the more ideas you learn, the more flexible you can be as you play. But you learn a bunch of different chain ideas and how to use them to add links to your own chain and build up your own chains. And then you learn variations too. So here, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be 3 and 1. It could be 2 and 2. And it doesn't necessarily have to be perfectly lined up like that. You could have a different color in between. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the very bottom. It could be like this. So there's a whole bunch of different variations and different ideas that you could learn there that would make you able to be more flexible and more able to deal with like the random colors you're getting when they aren't working out to build an exact specific shape that you want to build. And then once you learn the ideas, you could like implement them in chains that don't quite look the same as the example you might have learned off of. So this doesn't quite look the same, but it's you're learning an idea. So now I know I could do 2 and 2 off of this, or I could do, you know, it doesn't have to be on the bottom. I could do like this, or it doesn't have to be on the bottom on this part. I could do like this. So I've learned an idea, and instead of memorizing the exact locations where everything goes, I just know this idea, and I know I can use it to make my own chain. Now, something that you kind of do memorize, though, is how you place the pieces in order to build that specific idea you want to build. So, let's say I want to build that sandwich type chain. Well, I know if I have 2 different Puyo at the very start, I probably want to put them lying down like this. I mean, you could do other things as well, but this is how I'm going to put it. And now I've kind of just memorized it, or I just know it very well, where since I have a color that matches the one on the left, so I have a green, I can either put it like this, or I can put it like this. But the red doesn't match the purple, so I'm going to put it like this. But if the red did match the purple, I would put it like this, and then the purples would be ready. But it doesn't match the purple, so I'm not putting it like that. And I have a purple and a red. So I know the purples match, so I want to put it like this or this. But this red also matches, so I want to put it like this. So basically, you kind of memorize based on which colors match and which colors don't match, where you want to put each piece when you're going for a certain specific form. So this red matches this red, so I want to put it here, but the yellow doesn't match the purple. If the yellow matched the purple, I would put it like this, but it doesn't, so I put it like this. Now these greens don't match anything, and I'm going to put it here. And then these reds match and the yellows match, so I'll put it like this. And if I was really trying to make the exact specific shape over and over, I'd clear the greens so I can make the yellows work like this. And then put the yellow, and then put the green and the purple, put the last purple, put the yellow, and then set it off. So that's roughly like the idea behind how you would make a chain. But then if you know different variations, you could do something like this, where it's like you could make this kind of sandwich shape. And then now you've added another link in, you didn't have to waste the greens. So now you have a slightly better chain because you know how to make a variation of the chain. So it doesn't have to be on the bottom. If you know the idea behind making the variation like this, you can make this and then add another link in and be more flexible. Or there's even more variations where it's like, because I have a double green here, I could place it like this, and now this is a different way to make a similar thing. So you kind of do memorize, like, okay, if these colors match, I put them like this. If these colors don't match, then I put them like if the red matches the purple, I'd put it like this, but it doesn't, so I put it like this. The purples match, so I want to put it here or here, but the red doesn't, the red matches the red, so I put it like this. If it didn't match, I could put it like this. If it was purple green, I could put it like this. So you kind of memorize based on which colors match where you want to put them. And then you just the more variations you learn allows you to be more flexible so you have less wasted Puyo. So like you don't have to clear these greens, you could do this. And so you can be more flexible and adjust to the colors they're using if you know more variations on how to build a chain. So that all depends on how many different like chain ideas you know. So like again, how I was going over things like you could have the blues like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 in 1, so if you learn a variation, that might help when you're drawing colors that aren't working. Or if you learn a different variation, like using a different color, that might help if you're not drawing blues or things like that. So you end up learning a lot of different variations and how to build those as well. And then you get comfortable with adding them in to your own chains. And that's roughly how you like learn different chain ideas. So you end up learning like as many different chain ideas as you can in order to help you like be more flexible with your whatever board you have and whatever colors you're getting and chain off of anything pretty much.